Hey everybody, I'm B. Jermaine, aka The Terrible Australian, and welcome to my video review of the action stoner comedy American Ultra. So let's get right into it. Now, I didn't know what to expect from American Ultra. Like, ever since it kind of, was released in the US, I think about probably a month or so ago, I can't remember. It's sort of been getting a lot of mixed reaction from a lot of people. Some people either loved it or they hated it, and critics have been kind of right down the middle when it comes to it. But so I didn't really have any type of expectations for it. I just thought, okay, I dig the premise. It's kind of like a sort of like an action film, but it's also a stoner film as well. And the only kind of movie I could think of that kind of did sort of have a similar premise like that was Pineapple Express. But this one would be more of a more of an action film in that regard. And of course, there were sort of elements about it that had me interested. Of course, the cast, and like Jesse Eisenberg, Kristen Stewart, Topher Grace, Connie, Britton, John Leguizamo, Bill Pullman, Walton, Goggins, and many more. And they're all involved with it. And of course, it was written by Max Landis, who wrote Chronicle, and I loved Chronicles. So and I thought, from just based on that film, from a writing standpoint, I thought he did a great job. So I was very interested to see how this one would turn out. And another sort of inkling that kind of turned against it for me is that this film is directed by Nima Nourizadeh. I probably pronounced his name wrong, so forgive me. Whose previous film was the 2012 found footage comedy Project X, and I didn't really care much for that film at all, and so I sort of wasn't expecting too much. He was kind of like the only sort of thing that I was kind of worried about when it came to this film. So, like I said, didn't have any expectations for it. I just thought, okay, I'll just check it out and see what it's like. And I have to say, this is definitely, without a doubt, my biggest surprise of the year so far. I'm not going to lie, I absolutely loved American Ultra. I love that it sort of does a really great job at sort of combining the action movie stuff with a stoner comedy, and it does it in a way that I thought actually complemented each other really well, and it does it how it sort of combines the two is just really smart and really clever, and it's just extremely well written. Like when you sort of get down to the action, like to the plot of the film, it's not like something we've seen. It's not something. The plot is not something we've seen. The plot is something we've seen many times before, but how the sort of but how the filmmakers sort of approach this story, it just feels very fresh and unique, and it has a lot of energy to it, and that's what I thought. The film's director, Nima Nourizadeh, if I pronounce his name wrong, forgive me, did such a great job with, because he just brought so much energy to this film that it doesn't lag, it doesn't drag at all, and it's extremely well paced, and the action set pieces are done extremely well, and the humor works as well, and also the script is just, by Max Landis, is just really clever and just really smart, and it embraces the action movie tropes we've seen before, but does its own little spin on them. And what also really works about the film is that it's also really focused on its characters. And I have to say, and I'm not going to lie about this. I'm fully being honest right now. The relationship between Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart, because they play a couple in our two leads, and there's also their characters are the main couple of the film. I have to say, I'm not going to lie, their characters' romance, I have to say, is one of the most effective romances I have seen in a film all year. One of the most effective romances I've seen in a film all year. I just found that's the funny thing, because Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart, they worked together before on Adventureland, and I thought they had really good chemistry with each other in that film. And they get to explore that even more so in this one. And you actually find them believable as a couple, and they bring a lot of heart and emotion to, their characters' relationship with each other. And it's actually definitely one of the best love stories of the year. And that surprised me so much, because I didn't expect the romantic angle of the film to be as effective as it would be. I just thought, okay, it's just going to feel tacked on and stuff like that, but it's, if anything, it's really the heart of the film, and it just really works, and I just was invested in these two characters' romance with each other. You can tell that their characters love each other very much, and and it's believable, and I just found that in some ways kind of moving as well. Like, not in a way that I was crying or anything like that, but I just found it so, it just touched me, and it's weird because this film, like, Jump has so many different type of tonal shifts in it. Like, it's got the comedy, it's got the action, it has some darker elements in it, and of course it's got the romantic angle. You'd think it would be like a tonal mess, but it's able to sort of juggle all those tones together extremely well, and it also has a bit of a sort of a Tarantino-esque vibe to it as well, which I know some people will probably see writer Max Landis and director Nima Nourizadeh might say that basically making their own version of a Tarantino film, but I actually think it kind of complements Tarantino's style. Like, you can tell that it was influenced. Tarantino's work is a big influence on this film, and that sort of shines through, and particularly with the characters, because each character has this sort of their own unique personality, and they're very memorable, and every character is memorable in their own way, and every character has their kind of, even like little side characters have their own little arcs as well, which I thought was really surprising and quite well done. And I just really love this film. And like, in terms of like negatives, like I said, like the action part of the story is, it's nothing we haven't seen before, so it doesn't sort of bring us any new surprises in that regard when you kind of sort of see it. But occasionally the film does offer a little surprise or two here and there, that makes it like much more interesting as a film, at least in terms of plot. I have to say, American Ultra, definitely one of the biggest surprises of the year. I found it hugely entertaining. It was really funny, great action, and also really good performances by its cast. Although I think Topher Grace, I was kind of very mixed on his performance. At times he's good, but other times he was really bad, and he's basically the baddie of the film, but I just found his character be a bit rather one-note at times, so, and when he kind of goes really over the top, it can be a little too much, so he would also be one of the few negative aspects I have of the film, but overall, I think American Ultra, I think it's awesome, and definitely one of the biggest surprises of the year so far. So if I had to give this film a rating, I'm going to give it 4.5. I think it's really great, and I definitely recommend everyone to check it out. So yep, that's the end of my video review of American Ultra. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all later. See you, everyone. Bye.